Good evening, this is Joseph Ronin, the lead singer of the Daughters of Bristol. I wanted to take this opportunity to reach out to my fans, to reach out to others who've listened to our albums and are aware of our existence, and shed some light on some of the questions that have always been forwarded to us about who we are, where we're from, and what our intentions are in general. How did we meet? Well, I guess it really all started when Edward and I first met, which was a long time ago, back when we were younger children, kids, and we knew each other throughout high school. But even then, it was our communication was very limited. We didn't really do a whole lot musically or anything like that. I was going down a different path in life, and he was going down a different path. And it wasn't until we were in college when we first started talking or thinking about doing some different projects, and that led in one thing to another, to where we were practicing in the basement of a building called Jones Hall. It was like a dormitory, and we would practice in between our classroom studies. And eventually, after putting out different projects and trying to think about what we really wanted our identity to be, we decided to come up with what is now the Daughters of Bristol. And where that led us was we actually began to write and record our previous first release, the self-titled Daughters of Bristol Voyage EP, in the lower level of a funeral home, actually, somewhere in a small town in the Midwest. So that's really how we met, and we kind of we brought a lot of different pictures and different entities to the group. And I think Edward really came to me, and I remember when he first came, he said, presented me with a name. It was something that immediately I took interest into, and immediately I thought that it would be a wonderful fit for the band. So we took that and we ran with it. The name, the Daughters of Bristol, there's actually two segments in that name. You have the Daughters, and then you have Bristol. And Bristol actually comes from a land where a lot of our influences are from, which is Britain. And the Daughters is more about the production. I mean, when you think of daughters, you think of women, you think of production, producing offspring. And so it's really about continuing what some of our influences used to do. I mean, when you think of our influences in general, this is a continuation of what they started in the 70s and 80s. And so I get a lot of people at times ask me, is what you do a revival? Are you trying to revive post-punk? Are you trying to revive 80s goth rock? And that's not at all what my purpose here is, or what the Daughters of Bristol are trying to do. We're just continuing something. Many of our influences do include post-punk and goth rock. And a lot of the times when in our reviews, I'm constantly hearing about comparisons to that era, the era that includes late 70s, early 80s. Particularly my vocals. And so, I will point out that those influences absolutely shine through our performances, both on record and on the stage. However, it's not our intention to be in a direct relation to those influences, in the sense that we seem as if we're replicating what they've done. Everything that this band does is absolutely intentional. However, I think that we also have to communicate to our audience in a certain dialect that allows them to understand where we do come from. And the best way to do that is to take the direction that was given to us by some of the influences 20, 25 years ago. So I would would say that I don't necessarily claim I never really claimed to be innovative or something new. That's not what my approach has been. It's not what I've gone and tried to do with the Daughters. But definitely, I just want to put out good music that the audience enjoys and that we enjoy performing. So that would probably have to be our ultimate goal first, and so those influences definitely shine through when in the making of that.